Meanwhile, some more breaking news back at home. It has now been, if you can believe this, 1 year since Robert Mueller began his investigation. And now President Trump's attorney is calling out fired FBI Director Jim Comey for engineering the whole thing.
What is your optimal timeline for this to wrap up?
They should do it today. I mean, as soon as possible. I think that they have the facts from which they can write their report. If you're going to write a fair report, fine, write it. If you're going to write an unfair report, write it, and we will combat it. We're ready to rip it apart.
Congressman Darrell Issa is a member of the House Judiciary Committee. He joins me now. Congressman, first of all, your thoughts? 1 year has now passed. What do you make of where things are today?
Well, I think over the last year, we've discovered that there's collusion, but the collusion clearly has more to do with the FBI potentially having an informant/spy in a campaign for president by Donald Trump. Obviously Comey being compromised in many ways, including his breaking the law by leaving government with these notes. What we've discovered really is after a year of looking for some wrongdoing by the Trump campaign, they haven't found it, and yet they're not looking at the very blatant wrongdoing by the FBI leading up to that, including the very premise of this investigation being nothing more than a dirty tricks operation out of Hillary Clinton and the DNC. That's what we now know, and it's time to have an investigation of the underpinnings of this investigation. Obviously, I join with Rudy Giuliani in saying that, you know, after a year, they ought to print what they have, and if they have nothing, admit it.
Interesting. And you just heard Rudy Giuliani, his thoughts on the matter, and that he believes that James Comey engineered the whole thing. And he said the case is essentially over. They're just in denial.
Well, you're exactly right. And look, nobody is a more tenacious prosecutor than Rudy Giuliani was. If there was a crime, he was the kind of guy that would find it and prove it. And if there were a crime here in a year, they would have found it and proved it. What they've proven actually is that they can trick people into saying things and then charge them with somehow being untruthful about something unrelated to this investigation. And they've done it time and time again. They're running up the score on people who make false statements about unrelated activities going back even into 2005. Look, I was supportive of a special prosecutor or a special counsel. I was supportive that we should have it. I am now supportive that what we need is a select committee in Congress to find out just how deep and dirty the FBI and Department of Justice was in the 8 years leading up to this administration. It is pretty darn clear that the FBI has gone back to the dirty tricks and political activities that they were known for under J. Edgar Hoover. And that concerns me, and it should concern all Americans and people of both parties.
And you're sharing with us, Congressman, what you think should happen at this point, and that Robert Mueller should release the report, release what he has at this point, 1 year in. What do you think is going to happen?
I think he's going to drag this on for, quite frankly, political purposes, and sort of because this is him returning to the glory that he had as the FBI director. I think it's irresistible to him. But as he goes on and on and on, finding tangential things to charge, he's running up against people like Judge Ellis, a senior, very senior judge who's been on the bench a long time, who's questioning the very underpinnings of some of what he's doing. And I think that's going to continue to happen. You can't simply become essentially the FBI director and the U.S. Attorney's Office simply because you have a special counsel mandate. And that's what Judge Ellis in Virginia is questioning, and rightfully so. But again, it seems like he's willing to look at everything except the wrongdoing by the DNC, by Hillary Clinton, and by the previous administration. And that is really what we're seeing come out. We're asking, and I'm quite frankly frustrated that the Department of Justice is holding back the very documents under some vague, it's classified, that would show the underpinnings of this investigation was false. And when I called for a special prosecutor, I was thinking that what they were saying was true, not that this was a conspiracy by the DNC.
Congressman Darrell Issa, House Judiciary Committee, we appreciate your time this morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.